Inspire with Nendrix, the foundation.
Hello, Embracing Arms community. This is Danielle Harrison Green with Your Best Life and another 5-minute quickie. I'm just coming to you today to talk to you a little bit about helping your college students move into their first apartments. You know, many of our young people are entering into their senior year in college this year, and if your kid is like mine's or your young adult was like mine's, they wanted to experience some independence for the first time for their senior year in college. And so preparing to move out of the dorms where it's a little more controlled and prescribed and managed to a very independent experience. And so I just wanted to share a couple things that you could do and your student can do in preparing for living on their own, finding an apartment. So depending on where you live, it may or may not be very easy to find an apartment that's reasonable in terms of your cost. The first thing that I did when helping my young person look for an off-campus living situation is to look at our budget and what we allocated for on-campus living. And that helped us to determine what our budget would be in supporting her off-campus. And so if your budget is $1,000 a month for on-campus housing, $1,200 a month for on-campus housing, then we could reasonably expect that would be a budget that you could handle in supporting your young adults in off-campus housing. So start off with that, having a conversation or what your budget is if you are helping to pay the cost of the off-campus housing, or what their budget would be if they're solely going to be responsible for that. And so once you decide that, then you want to start talking about where they want to live. Do they want to live really close to the campus? Do they have a car so they can actually, afford to live further away from the campus? Do they want to live in a suburban area, in a more urban area, or maybe they want to live in a rural area? So think about that as you're considering. And then once you decide where you want to stay, and making sure that it's convenient to both the campus and wherever your young adult is working, then it's important to start looking for a place to live. Now, there are some situations where you can actually contact a realtor, and a realtor could help you find a place to rent. I was fortunate enough to find a realtor that helped individuals coming from out of town find home rental properties, and they walked me through the process almost as if I was buying a home. They did showings with me, and helped me negotiate my lease and everything. And so that might be an option for your young adult, really looking around, using platforms like Zillow to find the best property that is aligned with their budget. And then the other thing that I suggest is, once you identify where you want to live, take a walk through the community. At night, early in the morning, in the middle of the day, and I'm specifically saying take a walk because that's going to be significant. Driving through is one thing, but to actually walk through the community so that you can get a sense of the feel for that community, who lives there, how people are keeping their property, the crime, the noise, all of those things. So it'll be significant. Don't go by yourself, take someone with you and walk through the community. You'll be surprised what you'll learn just through walking through the community, and then use all of that in a deciding factor when you make your choice of where you want to stay. The other thing is, don't go unseen. Look through the property. Take someone with you, because there may be some things that you may overlook that the other person that's with you may not overlook. If it's important for you to have, a huge bathroom, like you want to go in there, you want to make sure that the bathroom is as big as you want. If it's important for you not to have carpet because you have allergies, then take someone with you, so that they can really help you assess, like, okay, is this too much carpet? Is it just the right amount? Also, there may be things that you don't like about an older apartment. Maybe there's paneling on the wall and that's not something that you like. Really walk through and make the assessment, because you're going to be there for at least a year. And so if you don't think that you can kind of stomach being there for a year, you might want to reassess. And then the other thing is to remember that once you are renting off campus, you also are responsible for things like electric and gas and water and internet and all of those things. So where on campus, all of that is included. Off campus, it's not. And so you're responsible for not only paying for those, but organizing and coordinating the services so that those energy kind of companies are there to hook up the services for you. So those are a couple of things that you want to consider if you're going to be living off campus in your senior year, renting a house, renting an apartment. I highly recommend if you rent a home, rent it with someone that you really trust and care for. But if moving off campus was just your way of not having to have a roommate, then okay, we understand that. But really consider where you want to be. If you want to be close to campus, off campus, what your budget is. And that budget, has to be reasonable for your pockets as well as your family's pockets, depending on how you've normally paid for your on-campus housing. Remember to walk through the neighborhoods during the day, in the afternoons, and the evenings, because you'll get a good feel where you're about to live. And make sure that you remember that you have to pay these utilities. So you got to coordinate the services and get all of that hooked up. So those are just some tips for me to you to get you prepared for this independence experience this next year. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what your experience is living off campus for the first time, and any tips that I didn't share that you think might be helpful for someone else. Until then, go out in the community and embrace someone. They're waiting on you. Live your absolute best life. And remember, while there are some mandates that are getting a little relaxed in some cities regarding masks, just be safe. Take care of yourself. Talk to you soon.
My La Casa boy, this is my residence. My prescription boy, this is my medicine. The world can be sickening, living in house resemblance. Not to mention the media's effort to keep us in the most simplistic state of mind. Lowest age bracket committing the highest rate of crime.